have last vlogged or posted anything up on my YouTube channel. That is completely on me. My bad. I really miss posting and just being able to express my thoughts and everything that has been going on. I have and had full intentions on creating, you know, a series about my total thyroidectomy and just kind of like everything that I've been going through with it. And I have kind of failed in a lot of ways because I just haven't really kept up with it like I should have. I got a camera about almost 2 months ago now, and as much as I really wanted it, I actually spent the money for it. It was kind of like a celebration too, because I had gotten straight A's in my master's program, that my husband and I decided to go ahead and buy this beautiful camera. And I have played with it, I have made a few videos, and I have not uploaded them. So, like I said, that is completely on me. In a way, I feel kind of guilty, just because, like, you know, it is an expensive piece of equipment, and why haven't I used it? So, let me kind of catch you guys up just on my life, and, excuse me, and kind of go from there. I feel like I got something in my throat. Hold on. So, basically, as you guys know, I was a long-term substitute teacher for this class. I had a 3rd and 4th grade split class. I really hope you guys can hear me okay. I'm on the tollway driving to a doctor's appointment for an ultrasound for my neck to see if the 5 tumors have grown since I have done the radioactive iodine, or radiation as some people call it. So anyways, so my brain is kind of like all over the place here. Is that better? It's all over the place. And so I was a long-term sub. I had this position for the past five or so months, and you know, that is a whole nother video. I'll talk to you guys about like the drama and everything. Thank God, for real, thank God I had such a supportive and wonderful principal, and she actually kept me on until the very, very end of the school year, because at first she was saying that I was going to be done in April, like April 26th-ish, April 24th, I think would have been my last day. And then she was saying that no, she was going to keep me on, and she found a way to keep me on. So I was the everyday, like daily sub, but I would like fill in for classes that either needed extra help or just whatever, which is great experience for me because I am getting a master's in special education with an ESL certificate. I did teach at a mostly Spanish speaking school, so I feel like my Spanish has gotten a whole heck of a lot better. I learned so much through experience rather than anything I've learned in the classroom. Isn't that just kind of like how school works? School is such like a, you know. In the meanwhile, I had gotten sick, and it was like, I'm one of those people, you guys, where if I'm sick, I try everything to, you know, nurse myself. I don't necessarily want to have to run to the doctor every 5 minutes every time something feels like, sorry, I thought I saw something on my window. I don't want to run to the doctor necessarily every single time I feel a cough coming on, you know what I mean? So I had gotten sick about, oh my gosh, 3 weeks ago now, and I had this like really bad cough, like it was really, really bad. I was coughing stuff out of my lungs, I was running a fever, and I figured I better go see the doctor. He thought I had whooping cough, which is crazy because I was vaccinated, but I guess because of all the anti-vaccinators out there, there's like a new strand or something going around. Now, if you don't believe in vaccinating your kids, well, I can't. There's nothing I can say to you that's going to change your mind, nor do I want to. Personally, when I have children, they will be vaccinated. Just FYI with this video, I don't even want to hear it. Like, I really don't. About like cancer and all, like, and about vaccines and autism. Here's the thing. I was on a few different Facebook groups for thyroid cancer support groups, or just like thyroid support groups, and so many people believed, oh, cutting out gluten and cutting out this and doing it all natural and blah 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 is going to cure your thyroid. Well, to be honest with you, no, it's not. And people will say, oh, well, you have to go and listen to this person speak. That's fine, but where are the evidence, where's the facts, and where's the science to back up the claims of naturalness? Now, here's the thing, too. I've been a vegetarian for over most of my life now, okay? And I'm pretty strict. The worst thing I do is I drink like a Diet Coke. I need to kick that habit, I know. I've done veganism, and you know what? I think everyone is different. You need to do what works for your body. How can I sit there and tell a person who's like a bodybuilder, who's doing competitions and that's what they like to do, and that's something that their soul tells them to do, to sit there and not eat meat? You know, there's just certain things like, sorry, that's what I mean, my brain's all over the place, but I'm just saying, like, there's really not any concrete evidence to support the gluten-free situation with thyroid. There's not a lot of support to with the whole anti-vaccinators crusade. Sure, there's theories, but as far as like case studies and stuff, I haven't seen any, and I've looked, and I really have looked. Prove me wrong, sure, but I want to see real case studies where I can search those case studies that are cited within those articles. You can find all sorts of information with certain things that are cited, but when it comes time to actually take the time and research to find where those things were published, a lot of times they're published in non-accredited journals, or even, and I know now the conspiracists are going to say, well, why do you think that is? Because the pharmaceutical, no. Evidence, people, evidence. I'm not just going to take someone's word for it. That's how you end up in like cults and everything else. Like, you know, hey, if you cut out gluten and it 100% works for you, hey, do it. If being vegan works for you, do it. If smoking a bunch of, you know, the green stuff works for you, do it. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life, and that's just it. That's my end of my rant there. I'm over it. Yeah, so anyways, and the only reason why I got into the whole vaccine thing is because they thought I had whooping cough because of all these anti-vaccinators who are out there. It has now, there's like a new strand of it, and it's causing people with weak immune systems, hello, me, to catch whatever's going on. It turns out it wasn't whooping cough, it was something else, but it was really scary nonetheless, right? So I got really sick, and that took like three weeks to get out of my system. I probably waited like a week and a half before I went to the doctor, but in the meanwhile, I noticed, oh my gosh, so girl, I was experiencing these crazy hot flashes lately. Like, it would be just like it is today. It's 59 degrees outside, and I was just sweating like profusely. It was just like, I was just so hot. I could not get comfortable at all. Like, I was just stripping naked going home, which my husband didn't seem to mind, but you know, I don't really like being naked in front of the dogs, you know, but I was just so hot and miserable, like running home, taking showers. I would get so hot that I was getting nauseous. There was this one day I came home from school and I was just so overly heated. And there was no reason for it. Well, there is a reason for it, but it wasn't like I worked out or anything. I was just so overly heated. I went in the shower and I just vomited. I was just like so, it was almost like a heat stroke, if you will, but it was like cold outside. Like high 50s, low 60s. And so when I went to the doctor and he was like, okay, well he was just my general practitioner, who I kind of like better than my regular general practitioner. The one that I normally see, she's definitely like one of those people, like she doesn't really like want to prescribe you antibiotics and doesn't want to prescribe you this, and this, and she kind of took forever to figure out my whole thyroid situation. And you know what? I'm a person that I don't have a very addictive personality. I'm not an abuser. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. If I'm telling you as an adult I need a Z-Pack because I know that it's going to turn into pneumonia or bronchitis or something, and there has been evidence that has supported that. Every time I get sick with this, it turns into this. I need to like be proactive, and this seems to work. I feel like they should listen, you know, and give me the antibiotic. I know years ago people were just writing out antibiotics left and right, but if you look at my track record, I would hope that with that communication, at the very minimum, like, would be enough to get an antibiotic. So I now see in the same office this other doctor, and he's a little bit more liberal when it comes to like antibiotics and such. So he gave me prednisone and an antibiotic, but at the same time he's like, we need to do labs. And I'm like, and you guys know I hate getting my blood drawn. It is like torture for me. No one probably really likes getting their blood drawn. I especially don't like it. I don't know, like just really kind of freaks me out. But I was so congested in my lungs and just like had so much like mucus and like it was just miserable that I was like, okay, you know what? I'm having all these like random symptoms. Like I'm having these like hot flashes. My heart rate is like racing again. I was getting lots of bruising. Not that I guess this isn't like part of a symptom. I'm getting my blood checked again for a bunch of other things in a couple weeks or in a week or something. Probably the end of this week, to be honest with you, because I have another appointment at Loyola next week, I want to say. But like I was getting like hair in places that like girls shouldn't get hair. Not a lot, but enough to be like, this doesn't seem. Oh my gosh, that guy is just like hit a tire at my car. I'm gonna take a picture of his license if I can. Well, now I can't. Well, we'll see what happens. Damn. A van just like ran over a tire and it flew and just hit my car. I'm sure I'll be fine, but like you get like the dead skin comes off. Oh my gosh. Sorry, Chicago traffic like just sucks. It's a little better. I know it's better than LA for all those like LA vloggers, but this isn't fun. Anyways, so if you guys are new to my vlog and you've made it this far, I do drive a stick shift, just to throw that out there. So welcome to the shotgun seat of my car, where I do most of my vlogging, because it seems like I'm always in the car. Oh, and so a couple of like symptoms, like I was getting hair in places like where you shouldn't be getting hair, which I guess isn't really a symptom of like thyroid, supposedly, but bruising is for real. Like I get bruised. Sure, maybe there has to do with being anemic, I don't really know, but I haven't really ever had that issue before. And my hair started like effing falling out again, and my heart rate was like going like super fast. I was like fainting again, and I just had a feeling that something's off with my hormones. So while I was at the doctor, I said, you know, being that I am a thyroid cancer patient and I have thyroid problems, if you need to poke me, could you please just run every single thyroid test that you have, and then I'll send it to my regular my endocrinologist in Loyola. And he said no problem, and of course it came back hyper. Yeah, I was going to the bathroom again a lot. So it came back hyper. Now from my understanding, when you have your thyroid removed, like I do not have a thyroid, you guys, it is gone. That bitch is gone, okay? That's what it looks like about 7 months after surgery. It's not too terrible. Honestly, I'm more mad at my hair being so short than I am at the scar, to be honest, but you know, it is what it is. You know, there's other things to be more pissed about, and hair is superficial. I can always like wear clip-in extensions. I can always get a cute cut. Scars, whatever, those are just markings that show that you live life. But there's a couple other things that are like really pulling on my heartstrings right now, and that is something that I'll get into in a little bit later when I need to make a phone call too. Crap. So anyways, my thyroid came back high, and from my understanding, when you don't have a thyroid, usually when you're on medication, it will come back like you're hypo, which means that, you know, you need your metabolism, everything else is like slowing down, you start gaining weight, maybe you're tired, that kind of thing. And that's usually kind of like what happens. But for me, I'm high again, which, to be honest, I keep saying to be honest, every time I say to be honest, take a shot if you're 21. But to be honest with you guys, for real, I like the feeling of being hyper. I know. I feel like I get stuff done. I'm kind of in a manic state. I feel energized. I feel skinny. I don't know. It's kind of like a natural, like I've never done cocaine, but from my understanding, having hyperthyroidism is kind of like a natural coke in your body. It just makes you like, you know, I'm out to get the world, you know? And then when I'm low, I just feel kind of like ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's kind of what's going on. So my endocrinologist called me and said that it is high, and that don't be alarmed if your thyroid globin levels, which are like the tumor markers or like the cancer markers, come back come back high. She says, then we're gonna retest you and just go from there. But she told me for like 5 minutes straight how don't freak out if cancer is like still there, basically. I wish I remembered exactly what she said, because this is now like a few weeks ago, and it was just so much at once that it was the end of the year for school. I'm doing like midterms at that point. Oh man, please tell me I didn't like get off on the wrong spot. No, I should be good. Yeah, I should be good. You know, so basically, sorry, my cheek is like peeling off. Oh, it's disgusting. So she like prepped me for the worst results possible, and okay, I feel like I'm done, you guys, like crying about cancer. I'm done crying about like this whole situation. Like, I'm over it. I've been over it. I've been over it for so long that it's just like, okay, alright, whatever you want to do, let's do it. Like, it's just like, that's like my mindset. And actually, let's rewind just a little bit here too. If you've made it this far, thank you. And I'm sorry, this isn't scripted. This is just like my real, like, thoughts all at once. And you guys are kind of like my diary / like friends on the internet that, you know, I appreciate very much. I do. And thank you, new subscribers too. So it's like before like I started getting all these like hot flashes and stuff, I would say, oh my gosh, now that was like about like 2 months ago now. 2 months ago, I was starting to feel really, really depressed. And you guys, I'm not that person. I don't get depressed. Yes, I do freak out. Don't get me wrong. I do freak out. But I'm not a person who's like, oh my gosh, I want to like kill myself, or I'd be better off like if I wasn't in this world. I don't want to be here anymore. I was having all these types of thoughts, and I kept telling myself, I'm like, this is not you, snap out of it. And like it was almost like I was getting pissed at myself for feeling so like down. But you know, a couple weeks later, my hormones are all messed up again, which would explain why I was having such like, I don't know, like, and I don't mean this term to be light or disrespectful, but these like bipolar type feelings. So when I go and I talk to my psychiatrist because of my ADHD, I was telling her like, you know, these symptoms, and basically like, you know, I came back hyper again. She goes, yeah, that a lot of times people who are trying to be as politically correct as possible with this, but people with bipolar disorders often can have thyroid problems if they that's why they have to do like a whole blood panel and rule it all out, because if you have thyroid issues, it can sometimes, symptoms can overlap, and you might just have hormones that are not balanced correctly, and it's making you manic or, you know, depressed.
So what I was trying to say, you guys, is sometimes when your hormones are messed up with your thyroid, because it creates such a complex array of emotions, that sometimes people can be misdiagnosed as being with bipolar, or instead of the real actuality that it is just your thyroid being crazy. That's what my psychiatrist told me. I know I'm not a doctor, but I'm just kind of sharing the information here as I saw fit while I was doing my driving vlog.
Finish up this thought, and then I will pick it up in a little bit here. So where was I? See, now I can't remember anything. That's the other thing too. My brain is just all over the place. So talked about the bipolar thing. I'm not bipolar, but I definitely have some of that like mania when it comes to like the hyper part, which I guess, you know, it's just normal when you have these kind of situations. I'm right now, like I said, I'm on my way to Loyola. I have like 13 minutes or so before I have to be there. So, or no, I have 13 minutes according to GPS. I had to be there by 10 for my ultrasound. And hopefully get those results soon, because I'm really anxious to see if these tumors have grown or not. And you know what? I know I've talked about children in the past, but you guys, that is one thing. That is the one thing out of all of this thyroid business, I would do surgery 10,000 times over again. I would do the radioactive iodine over and over again. I would do just about anything, if anything, to be able to have kids. And the problem is like, every time you get radioactive iodine, you have to wait a year before you can try to have a baby. And in my family, like my mom had a hard time conceiving me. I know that it might not be a cakewalk for me either to have a baby. And yeah, you can say you don't know that, but me and my husband were trying for quite some time, and I obviously didn't have a baby, and I know that comes with the whole thyroid situation too. But if these tumors do grow, right, and then they say either I need to do surgery over again or radioactive iodine, then it's like you're back to start. And everywhere I look, it's like the scene in Baby Mama, like when Tina Fey, I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, but Tina Fey really wants a baby. She's like put her career, this is like really zoomed in on me if I can, I really want to mess with it. Oh well, y'all can just see my face until I figure out this camera just a little bit better. But Tina Fey sees like babies everywhere, and that's how I feel. Like I really want a child, and when you're told you can't because you have cancer or you've put poison in your body essentially that could harm the baby, and you're not regulated with hormones, it's like a really real, you know, it's a really real problem and reality that I'm facing with and dealing with, that my husband doesn't fully understand, because let's face it, he's not the one who, like, he can have a baby pretty easily. He doesn't really have to do much. Let's just get real, right? But for me, it's like, should I freeze my eggs? Should I, like, I don't know. Am I thinking too like, there we go. Am I thinking way too much? Should I just like go with it? I can't. Like I said, I'm a Virgo, like, and I'm a type A personality. Like I do like to map things out, so, to a point. To a point, I like to like know a plan, if that makes sense. But ideally, I would have had a child by now. Ideally, I would have been pregnant, maybe with baby number 2. And I can't even get baby number 1. So we have been talking a lot about like foster care lately. There was a situation where I lived very closely. You guys can look them up. AJ, and he was like 5 years old. His mom was pregnant with another baby. He had a few siblings. Oh shoot. A few siblings, and his parents murdered him and buried him like 7 miles away. And even though DCFS, and he was in foster care before, and you know, so we've been talking about fostering because I know children need a home, and I have a very high maternal instinct for wanting to be nurturing and wanting to love and wanting to give. At the same time, I don't know if I can handle that either. I don't know. And the whole AJ thing just like really, it disturbed our entire community. It's not that far away from like where I live, and I don't know who could do that. Like, there's nothing a 5-year-old could have done. Nothing a 5-year-old could have done to deserve what these sick parents did. And I know they were like on drugs and everything else, but come on. And that's like something I would love to say. It's like, if you're gonna abuse a child or you can't take care of them, just give them to me. Give them to me. I will love your child. I want one. And how come it's always like that? It's always like every single like crackhead can have a million babies. Like, I don't get it. Like, do they just sit around and like bang all day long? And yet, like me, I went to college. I'm getting a master's. I own a home. I have, you know, a small business. Like, I just don't. My husband has a great job, and yet we are the people. Like, I feel like we get told that we can't have like kids, or we get like screwed, you know. But that's like my vent, and I'm sure I'll be venting about that because that's just something so real. And it feels like, for me at least, it feels like it's never just over. Like, this whole thyroid situation, it's been now going over a year. It was March of 2018 when I found out I was like pretty hyperthyroid. And it just kept going and going and going, and it's still going. And I know it's gonna go on for life, where you get tested like once a year or whatever, but it's like, I'm just ready for it to be over. It costs money. Like, this isn't like, not that I care about money or anything, because we have insurance, but it's like, really, I'd rather not spend $1,900 on a deductible for something that, like, you know, that's not fun. Sorry, I'm just like, now I'm just ranting and being a Looney Tune. I know. And drive to like the city and stop and go and wasting all my gas and time, and when I could be doing so much other things, if you will. But alright, kids. Oh my gosh, you're not kids. That's what I call my that's what I called my kids at school. But you guys are certainly not kids. Thanks, friends. And I will maybe if I can, I will vlog the hospital where I'm going. Until next time, see you in a little. Bye.